ICE needs to be abolished. It's not a border agency anymore, it's a domestic surveillance and policing power that's coming for the foundations of your own rights.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my God! What the What the
Okay, so let's start with the most obvious problems with ICE. Firstly, the deportation part. This is the part you see on TV. The guys picking up people from Home Depot, stuffing them into detention centers. But to do that job, they had to completely throw out the entire rulebook. We're talking warrantless stops, indefinite detention for in-profit prisons, a whole separate court system they've built where due process goes to die. What they've done is that they basically created a zone where millions of people, including the Constitution, doesn't apply. And when you create a legal black hole for one group, it's only a matter of time before that hole gets bigger and it applies to all groups. What they are doing is that they're just accepting random assholes off the street who used to be plumbers, but now that the government is offering a $50K signing bonus to pull over random brown people and harass them, of course you're going to get absolute losers to sign up for this. These are people who the regular police turned down and who are also too bitch-made to join the military. But to me, that's just the public face. The real scary part is the Homeland Security investigations. This is ICE's massive domestic spy wing, basically. They sold it to us as that they're going after child predators and drug lords, which they do very little of, but their mandate is so broad that they basically become an unaccountable intelligence agency. They partner with local police forces, they get access to every license plate reader, they buy your cell phone location data, they monitor social media for quote-unquote threats, which can mean protesters. This is the Third Reich's wet dream. Then you have the machine itself, ICE. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. You got private prison companies who need their detention beds filled to make their quarterly numbers. You've got defense contractors selling them spyware and facial recognition tech. And then obviously you got the politicians in districts with detention centers who fight to keep them open for jobs. What? Did you think those campaign donations they make to politicians were just for shits and giggles? Often, the most crime-hawkish politicians don't give a damn about the public. They're usually backed by the prison system, so they need a perpetual crime and immigration crisis in order to find more targets. It's structurally incapable of reform because its success is measured in arrests and deportations. Now, watch closely and see what happens when the machine gets the political cover it's always wanted. It's an administration that comes in and gives the enforcement wing the green light for mass raids. It's the surveillance state, Homeland Security investigations providing the targets from all the data they've been hoarding, and the bureaucratic beast gets real fat and happy as the budgets go up and more contracts are signed. But then, people start seeing it up close. They see a dad getting deported for a decade-old misdemeanor. They see protesters getting visited by ICE agents asking about their associations. Believe it or not, most Americans aren't actually cruel people. When this administration told them they were going after criminals, they believed them. But here's something most Americans don't realize. ICE is the direct bloated offspring of the post 9/11 panic. They sold us a whole new security state wrapped in a flag after the towers fell, and it was an anything goes. You had the Patriot Act, warrantless wiretaps, the whole paranoid circus. They needed a symbol of control, so they stitched together ICE from the leftover parts of old agencies and gave it a blank check and license to hunt. But terrorists were a shrinking target, and the multi-billion-dollar bureaucracy needed bodies to process. So just like in Afghanistan and Iraq, the mission creep began. The tools they built to track so-called enemies of the state, the data mining, the financial surveillance, the local police partnerships, all that infrastructure needed a public enemy to justify its existence. They pivoted from terrorists to illegals, but it's just the same hysterical playbook. Identify a scary other, suspend the normal rules for dealing with them, and watch as the extraordinary powers slowly become the normal way of doing business for everyone. So essentially, ICE is just a 9/11 security state once it ran out of Arabs to harass, and it found a cheaper, easier, and politically useful target much closer to our home. So abolishing ICE has nothing to do with the borders for me. It's more about admitting that the post 9/11 experiment failed and it became a monster. It means taking its necessary functions like actual cross-border crime investigations and giving them to other older agencies with real oversight and constitutional chains. It means dismantling the surveillance apparatus they've built under the guise of immigration enforcement. Abolishing ICE ICE needs to be one of the main things Democratic officials run on in 2028. They need to replace it with a highly monitored agency, or even to hand the responsibility over to police who are much more trained if your goal is to deport criminals who are illegal. They stomped on the rights that are the most vulnerable first. Your rights such as your right to privacy. That one is always the first to fall because it's easier to explain. They'll say, well, we thought we were going into an illegal criminal's house when we broke into your house. Sorry. And then they'll go after your speech. They'll say scrutinizing ICE is illegal because it creates threatening situations for them. Then they'll say you're a domestic terrorist and shoot you in the face if you refuse to be arrested by an agency with no authority over you, just like they did Renee Good. That woman wasn't dead 10 minutes before the collective right branded together to call her a domestic terrorist. Thanks for watching this video, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe for more.